All right, good morning. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Welcome to Engineering the Markets. Obviously, I want to give a early shout out to Eamon for coverage these past couple of sessions. I was on travel and having some challenges getting set up. So overall, just wanted to thank him for keeping the show going. And obviously, we'll have a little bit to catch up on, but we can go ahead and take a look at that today and also look forward into what the rest of the week has in store for us. So with that said, I'm Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is June 15th, 2021. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to be speaking from a perspective that references last Thursday as sort of a inflection point of the market, because if you were online with us last week, we were talking extensively about an upcoming event last Thursday known as the CPI report. Now, the reason this day and this report was so important was it sort of put together a picture for the market as to whether or not inflation was starting to increase and whether that increase was going to cause any action from the Federal Reserve and also just from allocation management inside of some of these sectors and stocks that we monitor day to day. We also were interested because the overall market was at a key technical area near all-time highs. And it did seem that the market wanted that information before considering a breakout or a rejection of that zone. So until we had that report in hand, the market really didn't want to move anywhere. It was sort of trapped in a trading range. It was a very choppy and tight price action. And it made it hard for traders who want a little bit of volatility, a little bit of directional bias to really find any opportunity inside of certain stocks and areas in the market. But all of that has come to pass. We've gotten our report out. Hopefully you've had time to review the numbers and sort of the impacts across the board. But we will take a look at some things that have been shifted based on that report being released. First and foremost, we know that the SPY has broken to a new all-time high. It is also worth mentioning that we've had a closure from the previous weekly candle above all-time highs. So more so than just getting out of the trading range and then falling back in, or not having a lot of potential energy on the breakout, sort of that kinetic break, that technical wide range sort of trending bar, depending on your time frame, and obviously things like volume to confirm it. We do have a weekly close, maybe not the size of the bar that we were looking for, but overall we are out of that trading range from this perspective. We have closed outside of it. So at this point, we're back into a mentality that this market has consolidated for a period of multiple weeks. We've had volatility throughout that period. We've had a trading range that we've analyzed. And throughout that time, we have remained cognizant of the fact that this market is still structured in a bullish tone. And keeping all of that in play allowed us to be very quantitative with regards to what to expect. We've seen moves through more volatile low-end trading ranges, moving back above our upper trading range, and I'll pull it to the daily to show just that general area of volatility. We know that if the market ever got back down here, things might get a little challenging once again, but we simply did not do that. We stayed elevated, and we even tested that lower range from the top side before our final breakout. So a lot of things sort of playing out as a market likes to do. Markets like to check back at certain zones. They also like to confirm or reject key areas. And on doing so, we need to remain aware that a lack of rejection may mean that this market is ready to expand higher. So far, we have not rejected all-time highs. We have obviously cleared them and closed above. And while we haven't seen a strong move away, this market may simply do what it has done in the past, where it starts to grind higher. And obviously, if this were to occur, it's not going to necessarily be the most exciting market to trade, but it is still a bullish market. So we need to stay aware that this is the tone and the structure until something changes. Now, what are some things that make us even more excited to the fact that we did clear this upper trading range? We finally have the NASDAQ doing the same thing. Things are back into more of a correlated state where the SPY and the Qs are positioned in similar zones or similar areas of their previous price action. And not only that, it seems as if the technology sector and specifically some growth sectors have been in play for quite a while, with the tech sector in particular waking up last week, and also a very notable trend day in some of our key candidate stocks. Most notably, Apple was probably the most obvious breakout session. Now, looking at this on a weekly perspective, we see once again this overall market that continues to remain in a bullish trending structure with tests at key moving average supports and overall trend lines holding. We obviously had a similar posture where the Qs were more volatile. They had a lot of proving to do, but I would say that throughout this period, they have done that proving. And while the volume has been lacking, hence we need to remain cautious. You can see that this volume is not necessarily one of excitement to break all-time highs. We have closed above these not on the weekly perspective, but we are in the potential of closing above the previous all-time highs. And with the Qs in this posture, we have a market that is once again being dominated by some of our large, big tech, quote unquote, big market cap type names. And if that's the case, and we have other sectors on board, not necessarily selling off hard, then this market has a really strong chance of grinding or pushing strongly to the upside. We will obviously look at a few sectors that have changed since that report has come out. There has been a shift that has occurred. That is a notable shift. Technology was one that was mentioned, but there has been other changes across some of our more inflationary sectors, ones that benefit from the thematic of inflation increasing over time. And then finally, with our IWM, we also have noted that this overall structure in the IWM was one more of a larger trading range. We had the idea that maybe this is a more distributive area for the market, as we really haven't seen a lot of upside in the IWM in previous weeks. We've seen low to high, high to low type trading, and there's some very notable supply zones, places where this market has rejected quite strongly, that if this market were to start to break out, we really would love to see them clear these zones and get out of this trading range, just to avoid the potential for a third rejection or sort of that continued high to low trading. Now, I have quite a few, it looks like resistance lines here, mostly because we didn't know which one would be the most important to consider. But we are at a point where all-time high certainly seems like the last spot to check in with. So as I clear some of these, we know that the market has been able to at least close some daily structures above. We just have our overall trading range with low to high and high to low. And then our weekly structure here, which I can move this down slightly just to match the weekly. We can see that, yes, overall, we're trying to get out of this trading range. We've had 4 weeks of strong bullish momentum, and we've talked about maybe a return to some of the growth sectors, which has been seen inside of IWM. Maybe some of our additional sort of volatile names have helped with that upside, but overall, there's been momentum in other areas besides the GMEs and the AMCs of the world. So with this posture, we have a marketplace that is starting to correlate, once again, with a lot of things near or at all-time highs. Now, this is from the perspective of our indices. Who is the odd man out at this time? I would say that at this particular moment, this junction, the Dow does not look exactly the same or even close to the same as some of our other indices. We talked about how over the period of pretty much since post-election up until now, the place to be has been in a lot of these more inflationary areas of the market. You want to think industrials, you want to think energy, you want to think financials as sort of the key player. And then overall, some areas in between, we had some opportunity in metals. We had some opportunity across all the different commodities that we've looked at occasionally throughout different sessions. Think copper, think soybeans and corn. There's been quite a bit of upside across our commodities market. And then with all of that in play, there's been sort of strong periods and weak periods of our stronger, or sorry, more of our risk-on sectors. Think consumer discretionaries and technology, sort of the two key ones. Now with the Dow in this posture, we note that it is not close to its previous all-time highs. And so far, this all-time high rejection has been quite a significant drawdown. This is sort of the first sign of really heavy selling that occurred in the Dow in quite a long period of time, leading to a setting of a potential significant high. We've come back to some trend line support on that rejection, and now we are simply trading flat. We don't really have a lot of directionality to note, and we have not seen moves to test that previous significant high. Now, what is causing some of this? We can start to look at some of our inflationary sectors, which once again have changed their tone. Some key interesting ones to look at are things like industrials. Ever since our Thursday session, not only have we seen them start to sell off, that's going to be, let's see, it should be 10, should be our large red rejection candle here. Not only have we seen a sell off, but we've seen selling volume come in. Now, from this perspective, it may look like simply another pullback. The trend is still up. We've obviously got a lot of upside that has been priced into this particular sector, but we do need to take a look back and see that we are extended. We have been trending in these areas for a long period of time, and what we are starting to see is signs of selling, signs of potential double top inside of a technical perspective. And we obviously have a change in the overall tone based upon this report. Whether or not this is simply an adjustment inside of this industry, whether or not things maybe got a bit overheated over time, and we are simply seeing some profit taking, a little bit of once again, distribution back down to more, I would say, fair valuations or fair levels, that is yet to be seen. But we do want to note that just because something has been strong, something like the IWM is sort of a key example, we are getting these very large and very significant highs being made. And so far, this market has been unable to retest these highs. So very similar to the Dow, we've had these nice daily spike up candles that have led to fairly significant downside in the perspective of about a 5 to 10% correction in some cases. And so far, we have yet to come back and test them. So just want to keep that in mind as we move forward this week. If we start to lose these lows, which were the reaction from the significant highs that were set, this is additional cautionary warning that the market's trying to give us, saying, hey, industrials may be at a point where they can go no higher for the time being. And we need to watch these areas for both opportunities to trade, but also to sort of think about inside of our overall market analysis, because industrials do represent weighting inside of the SPY. The idea is very similar inside of financials. Ever since last week, we have seen not only a very strong sell-off candle outside of the CPI report. I think what's most notable about this selling is that the market actually started off quite strong in the pre-market on that day. We saw a nice move higher in pre-market and then a complete turnaround, which has yet to catch itself back to the upside. So as we see financials, once again, one of our strongest sectors over the past couple of months, ever since the election, really in sort of a markup phase or sort of a uptrend sort of phase with every pullback leading to new highs. We want to simply take note that this is one of the first cases where a lot of selling has come in. The volume has been notable inside of that selling, and sort of our correlation that we like to track has broken down slightly, not necessarily all the way, but we have seen very key inflections inside of our correlated index, which is going to be something like a 10-year Treasury index. This is sort of the reaction that we saw from the CPI. It appeared as if some of the selling, or I would say decline inside of the index, occurred prior to it. And we've simply come back to about 1.5, which is a very notable area that the market tends to have strong reactions off of. It appears as if about 1.5% is something that the market takes into account as sort of a no risk or a low risk opportunity to move money into a position that can earn 1.5% per year. Think of sort of like a dividend yield inside of some of our sectors and some of our index products. So with financials and industrials sort of taking the brunt of last week's report, we've also talked about how, once again, this market is not in a position of fear-based selling. We are not seeing all sectors closing at the lows at the same time. We're not seeing a very strong sort of risk-off position being placed inside of things like the dollar, or even a really strong push to bonds or just risk-off sectors in general. I'll bring up the dollar just to show that we've been sort of consolidating over time, not going down, but not necessarily spiking higher as well. Overall, our idea here is that the market is still in rotation mode. Information comes out. That information is relatively binary in the sense that either it's going to be one way or another, and the market reacts to that binary information by moving money from strong sectors, in this case, that are now not necessarily having the same tailwinds as they did before. Financials and the Treasury index is one key idea. But we're also seeing that maybe there's not a lot of fear of inflation at this point. Market may not be necessarily afraid of any action that the Fed is likely to take. And we'll have some of that information coming out this week with a FOMC meeting, I believe, on Wednesday, along with the Fed chair conference that occurs shortly thereafter. So with all of that, tech is now back in play. We've seen strong impulsive moves back to the upside. We've seen bullish volume start to pick back up. and just our overall, once again, structure of these uptrends is starting to come back into focus. Whereas before we've had quite a bit of up and down motion. Obviously, it's been quite advantageous to buy certain dips. Not necessarily every dip is the same, but certain trend line dips, I would say deeper, more respected areas of this market have been rewarding people back to the upside. It has not been necessarily the easiest market to trade, but hopefully you've been taking advantage of some of the key zones that this market really likes to hold on to with a lack of fear inside of the overall market. We certainly are still in a bullish context across the board. Some other interesting areas, we'll look at XLY really quickly. I would say that, this one does have some key stocks that are starting to move once again, but the overall sector is still in a posture of just sort of consolidation. Excuse me. I would obviously love to see a strong break above a previous swing high to really show us that we're back into this upper trading range. But we've had moves from, I would say, previous downtrend, resistance turn support. And these are just some very general areas, somewhat challenging to overall identify and to take risk on positions inside of, especially during very volatile drops, as we saw in the past. But there are some, I would say, shining stars inside of this sector, regardless of the overall position of the ETF. But one sector that I am quite interested in to see how it starts to evolve is healthcare. And for those who were in attendance last week, we did have a success webinar discussing things in a very general sense about market cycles, economic cycles, and then specifically some of the sectors that often begin to perform in those particular cycles, what they mean and how to sort of interpret market participant sort of psychology for those cycles basically playing out time and time again. And one of the key things that we looked at was inside of the economic cycle, there is this concept of recovery from a period of either recession, some sort of depressionary period, or just a collapse of some economic conditions. And that can be brought on by something as large as large-scale war, or something as, I guess, unforeseen as a biological or medical emergency, which we did have last year. Now, the economy is certainly on its way to potentially recovering from that period of time. We can note that this period of the economy is going to be led by a market cycle that is looking out into the future. It's been noteworthy that throughout a period of sort of a depressionary economic market, a recession in very short order with some of the monetary policy helping us to recover, the market cycle has been quite strong. And we've seen tech last year, we've seen the inflationary theme take place this past 6 months or so, ever since the election results was kind of the kickoff of that. And now with some of the information we're seeing, we are starting to see maybe more risk off sectors start to come back to life. It's very early to tell whether or not this is going to be just a one-time event, or if it's even something a little bit more nuanced than that. But I do like to look at healthcare as sort of the start of that potential shift in a market cycle. And with financials selling, we have a couple of days where they are underperforming the overall market. We did have a significant report, pretty much one that all eyes of the market were on, and obviously we had a very significant reaction from. We see some other inflationary sectors starting to sell off. And finally, with any information we get from this week in the FOMC, it may be, once again, sort of a nothing event, but if any action is taken, I do want to look at how this market is going to start to position itself moving forward. Are we getting risk on, risk off, really big adjustments? Obviously, tech is back in play, so the market doesn't really see too much fear moving forward, and we do have our big tech names starting to really show up to the party. But with healthcare at all-time highs, I do want to keep that open mind as to whether or not there is going to be some sort of, I would say, more subtle positioning for a marketplace that maybe has a larger correction in the days to come. Everything is bullish, everything looks good from a technical perspective, but we have a lot of economic data that is moving things around. And that economic data needs to be respected to some degree because it is relatively binary in how it can affect our position and sort of basically our tone of the market. But until we see it inside of the charts, we will obviously remain a little bit optimistic back to the upside. We've done so in the past consolidation period, and so far that has rewarded us with a new all-time high, sort of keeping that posture of this market can go higher. It does have the energy to do so based on what we've been seeing, and so far, we have not seen that key reversal or any sort of fear-based selling really hit the entire marketplace quite yet. It may take something like that to really shake up our overall structure and really get things moving to the downside if that does occur in short order. Similar to healthcare, obviously, I just want to look at utilities. Just kind of note that they are starting to grind higher outside of a period of general consolidation. We sort of had this bull flag posture. I would say the move outside of it's pretty subtle, but something to keep in mind. We've had 4 trend days to the upside, days making higher highs and higher lows. We haven't really seen a lot of selling quite yet, so there is some positioning going on in utilities. And with what we saw in the interest rates, we've also seen the TLT come back to life. So there may be some, I would say, money flow starting to return to these as they become more attractive. And we also talked about just our overall position inside of the weekly technicals. We're seeing, that key sort of breakout candle. I would say a breakout above the 50 period moving average on the weekly. Pretty significant move as we've spent quite a bit of time down here consolidating. I'll just move some of these lines just to show the posture here. It's basically hugging the 200 period weekly, and then we see this key breakout above the 50. So all of which may be some sort of trend reversal that's really starting to take place. We do have a lot of upside if this really starts to take off, and there's not a lot of previous resistance in terms of the technical, I would say, posture. But there are forces outside of just technical supply and demand that drive the bond market. So with the end of my time, basically, I just wanted to say that as we get into the rest of the week, it's wise of us to review week in, week out the changes in the market. Sometimes during periods of continuation, if you really are have a high conviction in your position, it can be easy to sort of get a little bit lackadaisical, maybe a bit lazy in terms of financials are strong, they've always been strong, this is the place to be, and obviously that can change on a dime. There are reasons for those changes. We want to note them. We want to take advantage of them in the short term, and then ultimately look at how they're going to affect us moving forward. Finally, with what we're seeing across the board, there's been some opportunities in other areas. We talked a bit about crypto last week. I won't have time to cover that today, but we have seen a resurgence back into things like Bitcoin, and we've seen some of our minor stocks really start to break higher. We talked about how there are some early signs that this may be coming, and it's that same thematic idea that each range is important in this market. Where it exists in the charts is important, and how we get out of those ranges, along with how we test them to prove that the market does not want to return to them. Things can sell off for a long period of time. They can go much lower than most people expect, but at some point there will become an imbalance. Buyers will be interested once again, and we can see these shifts in power occurring, not only with good risk to reward, but I would say that by the time everyone recognizes the shift, things really start to explode higher much quicker than most people expect. Similar to the final selling that does occur near some of our buying climaxes in the past. So I guess my overall request for everyone is this market has had some really interesting changes in things that have been selling off for a while, have been strong for a while. Look and see how in the future, how you can take advantage of these opportunities, how you can notice them early and be on the right side, sort of the smart money approach, be early and be positioned well to avoid shakeouts, to avoid chasing and the FOMO that comes with some of these big moves that we're seeing. There are ways to detect that, and knowing it and being confident in it most specifically is going to really provide you benefit in the future. So we'll talk more about that maybe tomorrow. We'll also look at some of these other opportunities in the market. But at this time, that's a good review. I think we're all somewhat caught up. And I'll just say, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Stay tuned for pre-market prep with I assume Carlos and Nora. I'll just say Carlos for now. And I'll obviously see y'all tomorrow, and we'll talk more then. So trade safe.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you, brother?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we had on our list yesterday. Quite a bit that did not trade so well, but there were a few that actually were very, very clean. Let's get our 5-minute charts right in here. And both before we get right into this, guys, let's give a big thumbs up for Jared for engineering the markets over on YouTube. We really appreciate that. It does help us out a ton there. So
Absolutely.
starting here with Riot, guys. Riot was actually very, very nice, very clean yesterday. Had a great pre-market action, and it did take off and gave you a beautiful continuation, which is what we like to see on these type of stocks. So you saw it there happening. Another pullback towards the high of the day at that time, and then again it takes off. So again, had a beautiful open, and even throughout the entire day, it was pretty clean. Gets a little toppy here, obviously very extended, climbing out of 30, 34 all the way to 38. That's a $4 move, and then dropping back a little bit towards the VWAP. So again, you had a lot of opportunities on Riot, which we usually don't see, right? They don't trade that clean, but Bitcoin is in play. I expect for the next couple of weeks or a week or two, we're going to see this year being very active. AMC was another one that also traded very well. Did take a bit to get going, was a little choppy at the start, had a good pre-market action, and then from there, guys, it's just taken off again, hitting 60.74. You can see here we had this daily level, right? So that is your pre-market, your high from yesterday as well. So it did try to get to that level that we put on our daily there. But again, just incredible there. Several breakouts on AMC. Just continues to be very active. Already this morning, 4.5 million shares traded at the moment. Riot, I think the rest, the rest here were not great. And I know that because if you notice here, I moved up Apple. We had Apple on our secondary list, and that's the only one that I remember that was really good. Riot, AMC, and Apple. These, I think, let's just double check, make sure I'm not making an error here. Yeah, these were not great. At least for me, OCGN, yeah, just had one pop, and then from there, it just didn't do a whole lot. CLOV was all right. It did get an initial drop, and it did get better later in the mid-morning, right here around 11:30. Did climb out of this nicely. Beautiful breakout. You had to be watching this one. By the time it hit the scanners, it was a little bit too late with the way this thing took off here, guys. So again, nice pop there with some volume coming in. And then Apple was just incredible yesterday, guys. Nice little pop here. Gets going in a hurry above the VWAP. Never looks back here. Does come back and test the 9 and then holds on to the 9. So it's a beautiful chart here on Apple, and then you can see they're breaking the high of the day and a nice continuation, and then it just never loses it like many stocks do after they get so extended. It does take a break here, right? It takes a nice break between 1 and 12 and 2, and then it gives you another pop towards the high of the day at that time. So again, Apple was just amazing yesterday. It did trade very well. So hope you guys did very well yesterday. Let's take a look at our market pulse and what we have going on here.
Yeah, buddy. All kinds of data out today. Retail sales came out a few minutes ago. And now you'll have to excuse me because I'm working off Benzinga right as we were coming on. And what he was saying, the audio, the squawk that we have, wasn't matching the typed feed. So asterisk on some of these, they might be a little bit off. But retail sales were a bit lighter than expected. It looks like that was primarily due to auto sales because the X auto number was as expected. And then, sorry, I think some of these are being updated. So it's like data is confusing. PPI came a little bit hotter than expected, and the manufacturing index was weaker than expected. So we have remaining for today capacity utilization and industrial production at 9:15, and then business inventories and a home builder index, not BOEM, home builders index at 10 a.m. Typo on that on the screen. So as we mentioned yesterday, the big thing is going to be the big thing for today is going to be or tomorrow, the Fed announcement. Everybody's talking about that. We'll see if things get a little choppy as we get closer and closer to that, people positioning for it. So that's what we got, brother.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's jump right into this list. Let's remove some of the stuff we have here and all right, clean this up. All right, here we go. Let's make some rows in here. Let's start with what's gapping up this morning. We do have a quite a bit on here, as you can see. A couple of low floats. I see a few on there. Actually, let me get my Epic pen as well. We have that ready to go. 16, 14, a couple down here, so not too bad. All right, let's start here with UXIN. This one up right now, 17%, guys. 2.7 million shares traded. So this is it's got some volume to it. Pre-market action though, it could be cleaner. I don't like these wicks here, the movements that we're getting here. So that could be a little bit concerning there. This is a 300 million shares flow, and usually that type of flow on this type of price tag, under $5, they don't trade very well. So I'm not a big fan of the pre-market action. Daily looks interesting. It has been breaking out nicely. Volume for the most part has been extremely light, really under 14 or less here. I think 14s are on the higher end on some of these days. Today they got 2.7. So obviously they're a little bit starting on the right foot here this morning if they want to hit that volume or more. So I'm going to put it on here. This is not a risky. It's not a low flow, so I'm going to put it as a possible because I think it could be better, but it does got the volume. The numbers look great. Let's see if this chart can get a little bit better as we continue this pre-market here. OCGN looking really nice this morning, guys. Has a great pre-market action. We had a big drop on this one a couple of days ago, last week. And then we had a nice little base here off of 6, and now we're getting a nice little bounce. Now this is definitely in play. I know we were waiting for this one to do something. We're seeing it now for sure. OCGN. Norm, anything?
They announced a manufacturing partner for COVID vaccine.
Okay, yep. So that's gonna definitely help them out here nicely, guys. They're doing pretty well this morning, guys. Up 15%, 11 million shares traded, and that is a great catalyst. That type of catalyst is going to move these stocks nicely. So OCGN definitely the best one so far. RAPT, you know, it had a great pre-market action. RAPT, right? It was very active. At the market open, sold off yesterday. This is one of our low flow stocks we had on deck. And it was okay. It was all right. If you were able to get a quick scalp on this one, after hours does get a nice little pop here. That's causing it to be up 8% this morning. Pre-market, though, not looking nowhere near what it was yesterday. So we got this very strange kind of daily here. We got a nice little pop here from 26, 25, or 26.50 all the way to 42, and now we're above that, hitting as high as 48. So we'll have to see where this goes here. Doesn't look great right now pre-market wise, so we'll put RAPT on here. We'll come back to that. this morning, 17 million shares flow. The volume is just not there, guys. 151,000 is not going to do it for a low flow stock sitting at 17 million. So we need to see a little bit more from them. CLNE, this one here, it is up 6%, 1.4 million shares traded. This thing has popped up in the past before. Pretty nice, as you can see here on the daily. We were talking about this one yesterday. What's it, this one? You know, everything has gapped up in the last couple of days, but it managed to somehow end the day red. So very interesting daily, and this has been happening since the 4th of June. Every day in here has ended red. So just strange, and there's still somewhat of an uptrend here, making higher lows somehow. So interesting. Let's put it as a possible for now. Let's see what comes out of that one. CLNE. All right, there we go. FRHC, 16 million shares float. Does not look great, guys. Looks very, very choppy. Also, this type of price tag, 56, trading 1 million shares per day, and that type of movement, that is not great. I could tell that's going to be nasty in the intradays. Actually, if we look at it, look at yesterday, it's just brutal. The day before, let's just stay away from this right now. ENOB, ENOB. This one here was active yesterday. Had a great breakout in the pre-market. For the most part, sold off the entire day yesterday. So they didn't really give us any kind of great pops here. They were very quick and did not last long. Just no continuation. Today they are up 5.6, 308. But again, for a low flow sitting at 14 million, the fun might be over on this one. And we do not have shares for short. And I don't recall if we had yesterday neither, but if you didn't have shares for short, you were not going to have a fun with this one. So I'm going to skip it for now, guys. It just doesn't look good at the moment. Here's Wish. Wish has been trading very well the last couple of days. Yesterday, they have a nice breakout. We saw, I forgot who called it out in the chat room. It was quiet in the pre-market, and then after the market opened, it did turn up nicely here with some good volume. So it did well yesterday. Today, possible breakout. They're up 5.4 5.5, 4.8 million shares traded right now. So doing pretty good there. Let's watch Wish. This is looking very good this morning. All right, we'll throw that on there. Next, Mara. So some of the Bitcoin stocks coming up here. Mara's looking okay. Volume is a little bit lighter than I would like to see. I'm going to put it as a possible. We can come back to it. No VN. This one was active last week as well. We got a nice little pop out of this one, and it traded well in the intraday, although the daily doesn't look nice this morning. Right now, pre-market action a little bit lighter than what I would like to see. The volume should be higher. It can pick up. I do like the fact that we're past the second day here, and we're trying to hold some of these levels that we gapped up on, right? So hopefully that can mean something. If they can get going here, that could be nice. But for the most part, right now, it's not quite there yet. Save, let's see here. Not really in play. I don't think they're in play right now. CLF, nothing happening there. CAN, another Bitcoin play. I'm gonna keep Mara and Riot. Riot was very nice yesterday, so I'm gonna actually keep Riot on my main list. If that trades like it did yesterday, it can be very good. CRSR, we
I just
saw
want to
this yesterday.
note,
Yeah,
Save got an upgrade. I think there's a couple of upgrades in the airline sector.
mm,
So it's quiet right now. I agree because I've looked at most of them,
yep,
and I'm not a fan of pre-market what's going on, but they might
yeah.
something might happen with them.
All right, I will. Did they all get upgrade or just Save? Save was the one that got it.
Well, I know Save did. That's the one that I really looked at. And then I started
Yeah,
looking at charts of the others.
yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll put Save on here and see where that goes today. We'll put it on there. So safe as a possible this morning. BNGO today, they are up 2.3, 211,000 shares traded. I'm not seeing anything great on this though, guys. Again, so I'll keep this one off. I know we like this one when it's got the volume and trading well. It can be very nice, but right now it's not looking good. All right, let's see what's gapping down. PDSB, this one is gapping down 22%, 304,000 shares traded. It is a low flow stock sitting at 17.7. The daily's really all over the place here, very, very choppy. Again, with no volume really all throughout these days. So they've been moving pretty aggressive, I want to say, with very, very light volume. So, for example, here in this day, we went from 850 up to almost 1025. Looks like with what? 2 million shares traded. So that could be scary stuff.
yeah,
Today, yeah, that could,
that's a secondary. I'm
it is.
yeah.
All right. So secondary is no good. We'll move on here. Sage, guys, this one is down 11.3 at that time. But listen, this one we've seen this so many times. It's never traded well. Never traded well. Today, I know they're dropping quite a bit here, 714,000. Maybe that could be a difference today. They're not a low flow stock, but just look at this daily, guys. I mean, they're February, March, April, June. It's just nothing above a 1 million shares traded right on here. A 1.6, 1.5, let's say, and this was on this one day here. So that's concerning. I know right now they're about to hit that number. They have 714,000. I'm not sure what the catalyst is. I just don't think the DNA of
They
the
had
stock.
some depressing news on some drug trial results for a depression drug.
Okay. So it looks like that's not going too well there. Again, I just don't know how, I'm gonna keep it off, guys. If you guys want to watch it, you can. I don't think that stock is gonna trade well, even with that news. It just looks horrible. Wolf here, they are down 8.4, guys, 767,000 shares traded. At the moment, pre-market action is starting to get going here. It's got some good volume. It's got some good movement. Did well yesterday. The daily does not look good at all. Seems like a stock that does not trade very well. But they must have some kind of catalyst going on here since yesterday and today. Yesterday they got going around 3. Looks like what's that? That's 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Here got some volume started going into the market close yesterday. So let's put it as a possible for now. Here's Wolf.
This is way up top of the list, not number one, but close to it on the Wall Street Bets chat.
Oh, that's what's happening
today.
Here. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm looking over here. There's
Got
nice little
high short interest. I think they're trying to work their magic on it.
Okay. All right, so that could be interesting. Of course, we'll put it here as a possible for now. They do have a 30% short interest here on based on trade ideas. DKNG this morning. Wow, nice little drop on DKNG. So something is happening here.
They just got slammed by Hindenburg Research that put out a hit piece on them, a short report talking about, amongst other things, some black market problems and shady things that might be going on there.
Yeah, well, it was gambling, right? I mean, what did you expect? DKG here is dropping, guys, 6%, 960,000 shares traded, looking very good this morning. Definitely
in play.
Yeah, definitely in play. So we'll take a look at that.
The only thing that DraftKings can be, it can jump around a lot.
That is very true. So be careful. I have a tough time trading it at times. I think I had a handful of decent trades on this one, but it is a tough stock to trade. So let's be careful there. ARE this morning. This doesn't look great, guys. Horrible pre-market action. No volume. It's down 4.6, but it's just not a good intraday trading stock. You can tell quickly too. Come down here. You look at the volume. very similar to what we saw earlier on Sage. Just horrible volume, horrible intraday action. FSCX this morning, they are down to 33.2, 523,000 shares trade. They're okay. I mean, their daily is horrible. They had a couple of days where we took advantage of it, but aside from that, they don't do that whole much, that whole lot. Right here, I like the drop there. They're losing this 39.50 looks like, so that's interesting. Looks like they want to break down here. We do have shares for sure. Could be interesting today, but definitely not the top of my list this morning. All right, we'll stop here. Well, let's take a look at Uber since it's here now. Uber is down 2.5, 505,000 shares traded. I don't think it's really in play, guys. They're pushing some volume around. But if you look at the last couple of weeks, they're just stuck within this range.
Yeah, it's just
so
range bound,
yeah,
really.
it's just range bound. I won't put too much weight into some of these transactions being posted here, creating some volume. I wouldn't put something. We need a breakout one way or the other on this one, and I don't see that happening today. All right, Norm, anything you like that's not on here?
I'm still looking, brother.
All right, excellent. Let's take a look over in our chat room, guys. Let's see what you guys have this morning. Let's start with Chris. You're giving us Wish. Yes, we have that on here. That one's looking really good this morning. Great pre-market action, great volume, great daily too. If you look at the day, look at this area of support we have right over here. That is now becoming resistance in the last couple of days. Here. Yeah, we broke out of that. This is some madness here on this day, obviously. We did sell back down. We're trying to break out of that one more time and head towards some of these levels. So I do like Wish quite a bit, looking very good. CLF this morning, CLF right now, good pre-market action, guys, up 2.3, 1.4 million shares traded. Why is this didn't come up in our gappers list?
I thought you looked at it.
Did we look at it?
I think so.
Why we didn't add this one? I don't recall.
I thought you did. Maybe
I
not.
thought I did too. Yeah, maybe, because it doesn't look bad. So maybe we didn't finish the talk on this one. So it doesn't look bad. It's not great, but it doesn't look bad. Maybe possible. Or maybe at the time we looked at it, it didn't look good. So I don't know. Let's see. AMC, I skipped one. CRSR, right over here. Yeah, I looked at this one earlier, guys. It's okay. I'm concerned with how it's going to trade today. CRSR, maybe a possible, guys. I mean, had a big day yesterday. Maybe we'll drop and lose some of these levels here. I'm not sure. Let's put it as a possible. We can come back to it. CRSR there. Heading on down, PLTR. We haven't looked at that one in some time. PLTR. This morning, the daily's interesting on PLTR. Slamming up against this area of resistance over the last couple of days here, and here. That has been a struggle for them in the past as well. At 21.15 looks like pre-market action is just it's all over the place. I don't know what to tell you about PLTR. I mean, it can do this horrible pre-market action, and at the open it can trade amazing, or it can have an amazing pre-market action, get you hyped up, and then let you down big time once that bell goes off. So that is PLTR for you. It's very difficult to trade. It's a sour patch. PLTR, that's what it is. It's a sour patch. It's just, I don't know. PLTR, let's put it on here. 500,000 shares traded, trying to break out. We'll see what happens there. Heading down, what do we have? Neo. Oh, we have Riot on deck, so that's good. Roku. Let's take a look at Roku there, and we'll look at Neo next. Big day yesterday for Roku here. So they broke out a 350 area they were struggling with, hitting that 370. They did it with not great volume. Maybe why it didn't hit our scanners, or I didn't pick it up. Could be interesting today.
It was doing nothing until day started cranking, and
right.
So that was great.
I'm concerned today. Maybe I'm not sure. It could go either way on Roku, guys. What's the news? Was it any news that caused that pop yesterday, or just again doesn't like it was heavy volume? So we'll take a closer look. Like we like Roku. When Roku is in play, it can trade decent. Facebook. Let's take a look here. AMC we do have already. I believe we put AMC. Oh, we haven't put AMC up yet. We should. Facebook, very similar to Roku. So it looks like all these stocks kind of moving together yesterday. So very similar. Again, not doing a whole lot right now. I'm not going to add too many of these. So again, I'll just keep that one off. I know Apple is the one I'll probably keep an eye on, right? Apple also moved up. So you got a lot of these stocks, Facebook, Nvidia, not Nvidia, sorry. Roku kind of moved up yesterday. So something maybe there. But if you're going to watch any one of those today, they're not moving a whole lot in the pre-market. But Apple is one that it's actually moving a little bit better. And they're going to get the volume and have a higher likelihood of trading cleaner and better than some of these other ones, right? When there's not a specific catalyst driving those other stocks. So that's the one I'm going to keep. AMC, we definitely have to watch. I mean, this thing is very active this morning, up 2.2 already with 5.1 million shares traded. I know this list is getting very long, but we will chop this up nicely here. PLTR, we did look at. Yeah, see, you know what? When we look at stuff like this, and now I think about PLTR, it should not really be on here. So yeah, it should not really be on there when we have a list like this. Neo, I'd rather keep Neo. Look at Neo. Neo's moving here.
PLTR sucks on its best days.
Exactly. So
I'm trying to find something nice to say about it.
That was actually pretty nice for PLTR. So Neo here, guys. Let's keep that one instead. All right, we'll stop here, guys. We have plenty. I think we have a lot already on our list. Let's take a look over on YouTube. See what should we have. John D. PLTR should be delisted. I agree, at least from our watch list, right? So here we go. Alf. You know, we spoke about this one before. Is it doing something today? Oh, they're popping up today. They're not the best trading stock, but they got something going on here. 3.2 million shares traded. They're up 20%. But again, they're just not great. So maybe
eating cats.
Yeah, maybe we'll take a second look at it to see if that anything changes there. They got great volume though. I gotta tell you, up 20% is pretty nice. CLOV we did look at. I think that is on deck here. Do we have that one? CLOV. Oh no, we looked at it when we did the recap for yesterday. Today it's not doing a whole lot, guys. It's pretty choppy right now. It's kind of going sideways a little bit here. We need the breakout, right? So who's doing that now? OCGN. Yes, see OCGN. This is doing the breakout now. It's got the volume. It's got a catalyst. It's good to go. But if you look at CLOV, I'm concerned that this type of action after this big drop here, it's just going to go sideways for a bit. So we need to break out of 1625, 1375. Let's get some action here, some volume. This is not looking too good right now, right? And a lot of stocks that popped up in the last week, right, that did this massive move towards the top here and then now drop down. You see a lot of this sideways action now. We need the buyers and sellers to come back in here and push this thing around one way or the other for us to join whoever's winning the action there. But right now, I don't see anything good happening there. ATEX, no block trade, so no volume. That does not look good. XOM usually doesn't trade very well for me. Today they're up less than a percent. 173,000 shares trade. I don't think they're really in play, or maybe they could be. This stock is so choppy at times that maybe this is a great pre-market action. I don't know, but I don't really watch this one, guys. I think we can find better stuff for today. Oh no, you're saying CSCCO. This one here, no volume, guys. Pretty light on the volume on there. Let's head down. Let's see what else we have. Alf, what's the catalyst on now? Is the catalyst on there? It seems like there is, right?
Yes, I had some deal manufacturing tablets for Uber or something, I think.
Okay. AVXL, big day yesterday, not doing a whole lot today, guys. Very quiet, only less than 50,000 shares traded. If they can get the volume, maybe, but for the most part, they might be a one and done type stock, right? You had the volume coming yesterday. They don't do a whole lot. They don't trade very well. So again, I just don't see them being on our list this morning. RabT we do have down here, guys. I know the list is long, but RabT is up right over here for a possible continuation. They did very well yesterday. A lot of that action in the pre-market. We'll see today what takes place there. All right, guys, let's stop here. We have a pretty decent list. Let's go to our community announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list.
All right, brother. Tonight, 8 p.m., we're going to have Peter, our very own Peter, talking about his mountain pass strategy. That'll be 8 p.m. this evening. He has talked about his mountain pass strategy in the past, but this one will be more in depth, is my understanding. And then next week, we are dipping our toes into crypto. Kyle will be talking about securing your crypto wallet and broker account. All right. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., we'll have Nada, our mindfulness expert, talking about having a wise and healthy relationship with money. And then next week, we'll have the town hall that we have on occasion with Dr. Katz. 2 traders from the room will sit with him, and he'll kind of moderate a discussion about their trading journey. That'll be tomorrow, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade with entries and exits, and then add any commentary you can into it to describe the trade. Posted it on Twitter, tagging @BearableTraders, at MikeB_BBT, and @NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, day trading, and stock market. We'll pick a winner each afternoon, announce that in the room and on Twitter, and then all the trades of the day are voted on by the team to win trade of the week, which will be announced Monday afternoon on Twitter and in the room as well. All right. Meetups. We've got meetups on the calendar yet again. This is awesome. Now that things are reopening, I anticipate there will be a lot of these coming up. Thor's birthday meetup, New York City, Saturday, July 3rd, 4:30 p.m. Three Monkeys Bar. Please RSVP in the forums. I know that Andrew, Carlos, Mike, and Kyle will be there. I don't know if or how many other mods will be as well, but at least those four. Also, there is a Portland meetup coming soon. I don't know the date. Somebody can throw that up, but there is a link up above. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're in New York City or Portland for that matter, you do not have to be a member to come to these. Andrew will buy your drink regardless. June 24th is Portland. So, if you've been watching on YouTube for a while, you want to come out and say hi, meet Andrew, meet Carlos. Sorry, I can't make New York, but you guys be sure to check them out there. Just RSVP so we know how many we can expect. All right. If you are watching on YouTube and would like to try out the chat room, use the promo code PREMARKET24. That'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. It includes the onboarding classes every Monday night. And after that 7 calendar days, it just cancels. It does not auto-renew or turn anything else. You actively have to go choose a membership to do so. And then if you'd like to become an elite member, use the promo code Fireworks40. That'll get you 40% off the annual elite membership.
All right, thank you, Nora. Appreciate that. All right, guys, let's get to it here. So we have our work cut out for us. Let's take a look at what we have in play this morning. So let's start with OCGN. This one definitely very much active. We'll keep this one on here. That is good. Wish, I believe, was looking very nice as well. Yes, I like the daily here. I also like the pre-market action. We'll keep that one on deck. Next, we have Riot. Riot looks good. Riot looks interesting here. Had a good day yesterday. It traded very well in the intraday, so expecting for this to hopefully do that again today. That looks good. DKNG, nice draw. Oh man, DKNG is taking a hit here. As you can see, volume increasing towards the downside. So we'll see if it can hold this low of the pre-market right now, sitting at 46.26. We'll throw that on there for now. So that's very active. Again, they got a catalyst, as Norm mentioned. They put a hit piece on these guys yesterday. FCX. This one is down 3.5. Pre-market action is okay. I like the drop here that we have below 39, right? So we've been above this for a very, very long time, ever since looks like early May. So we're losing that now. We're hitting some of these levels here. Let's see if we can lose some of that. So that looks interesting. I think Apple looks great this morning, was great yesterday, and AMC, of course, is crushing it right now. It looks like it wants to go towards that high of the day, sitting at 59. High of the pre-market, 59.50. So we'll throw a level there as well for now. All right, so all of these are looking pretty good, guys. Let's see if we can remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have way too many. Might be FCX that we might move down. Let's see here. They're all looking good. You know what? We have some time. It is 9:01. We'll do level for all of these. I think we do have time to be able to do that. Secondary list. Let's make sure we're not missing anything. Roku. I'm gonna take it off for now. We know Roku. We wait for that to hit the scanner. CLF looks decent, guys, but compared to stacked up against what we have up here, it considered on the possibles list. If you don't like any of the ones that are up here, you can move that one up if you like that one a little bit better. Wolf is dropping down here, but again, just compared to the top list, it's not looking great. Mara, we have Riot, so I'm going to remove this one. We have Riot. When you have Riot, keep Mara in mind as well. They both traded very clean yesterday. Riot a little bit better. CLNE, it's okay. UXIN, I'm going to remove this one, guys. You got a pop here. It's dropping now. I don't like these type of wicks here. It just doesn't look good. So let's get rid of it. Save right now is pretty quiet. They do have an upgrade, as Norm mentioned, but again, they're quiet right now. I'm gonna take it off. If you guys see something, say something, or if it hits our scanners, we'll catch it there. I'm sure we'll be looking at the airlines overall, American Airlines and stuff like that. So if anything happens, we can always tune into that. But just for the sake of space, we're gonna remove that one. CRSR. This one looks like it just wants to lose it here, guys. So we're slamming up against an area of prior resistance that was trying to be support now. We'll see. We'll support yesterday after this thing dropped here from 43 all the way down to 36. Let's see what it does here. Pre-market is looking very nice this morning. We do have shares for sure. I think this can turn out pretty well here. Let's head down over to Neo. Neo is okay as a possible, and Alf. Alf's got some stuff going here. We can leave it on there for now. We can always fine tune this a little bit later. So we took some off there. No VN. This one is dropping here. We don't have shares for sure, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Let's get rid of that. RAPT. RAPT is okay. It's interesting on what it did yesterday. Let's keep it on here just to see what it's going to do today. All right, let's get levels on here. Starting with OCGN, guys. So nice pop here this morning. Their high of their pre-market sitting all the way up at 745. We'll throw one level there. Above that, guys, we got a couple of this daily, by the way, it's a horrible daily, right? It's not clean. Look how choppy this thing is. Now, what happens is when you don't have these great clean dailies, it makes it a little more difficult to spot daily levels, right? And then that's the issue. That's why we like to have clean daily charts. It makes it easy. And you want this to be easy. You don't want to be the only one sitting with a level that only you know about. You know, that's not going to work. The way this works is we all have to be looking at the same thing, right? So, for example, this 797, this looks good. We have a lot of touches here, a couple of days bouncing off of that. If you're the only person that has that level, it doesn't mean anything, right? You're not going to change the price action on your own. So here we have 950 towards the top. That's another one. And then all the way up here, we have 1101 as well. So some okay levels. Again, they're not the best daily, but you can pick off some levels here. And if you move to the left, you can see more confirmation on these levels that we're putting on here. So again, not too bad, not too bad. Towards the bottom of the price action, we do have the highs and lows from the last two trading days. Previous day close right on here, which we're bouncing from. That was a nice area of support in the past and in between March and April right on here. So today we're bouncing off of that nicely with a good pre-market action and volume. Already 13 million shares traded. That looks very good this morning. Let's head down over to Wish. I like the daily on Wish, guys, for a possible breakout here. So pre-market high sitting at 1218. Let's throw a level there. Again, we're bouncing back a little bit, but down a little bit at this morning. Towards the bottom, you do have the highs and lows from the last two trading days. And then slightly above this, let's see clearly all the way up here, so you have a level 1496. Then towards the bottom, we have one right on here, guys. Couple of days opening and closing and bouncing off this 1349. So let's throw that on there. You got resistance here. You got support happening here. So that's good. And then the next really good level is the one we just marked, which is the high of the pre-market, right? Great support here. Nice change in direction, guys, over there. And then over here, you can see the support happening again. This time we fail, right? We fail. We're not able to bounce. But that 1218 is a great area. If we look closely in here, maybe this is a possible, guys, so don't put too much weight on this one. This is not a 1218 level. That one is very strong. 1281, you do have a couple of days opening and closing right around that area, so you can mark that down as a midpoint between another good level, which is going to be that 1349 that we already marked down. So and we cover the bottom, guys. You're pretty much clear here. Tons of levels here. Day looks very good, guys. Again, we've been slamming up against this area one more time. Let's see if we can get a breakout. Here is Riot. Riot traded very well yesterday, hoping that it does the same today. If it comes back down here, it's not gonna, probably might not be great, right? So we'll see. I'm looking hopefully for a breakout if that's in the books for them today. 36.90 high of the pre-market. Above that, you do have the highs from yesterday right over here. Slightly above that, you do have a great area of support right on here. 39.71, guys. Tons of touches here. You can see that right on there. We held that for quite some time before the actual breakdown there. So 39.71 will be your next best level. Towards the bottom, guys, if you look closely here, you pretty much cover previous day close right on there, which we're getting the bounce from this morning. And also you have the highs and lows from the last two trading days. Heading down to DKNG. Oh, man. Oh boy, this thing is leaking nicely here. Let's see, 46.28. We did lose that level already. I'm gonna leave it on there. We did get a bounce off of that. Let's see if that cannot become resistance. But then if we go towards the bottom here, we have 41.98. We also have 39.89 down here. In here, there's a lot of touches right on here. 44.51 coming up, right? got a couple of days hitting that with their wicks here, a couple of days opening and closing right around there. So that could be interesting. We'll leave the 46.28 here. Let's see how that's going to play out, because look at the battle there. We lost the low of the pre-market, and then just volume coming in and continuing to drop there on DKNG. Towards the top, if that's even a thing for them today, we do have 47.57. So we'll throw a level there. Not a lot of touches, but you got this day here, and you also got a couple of days right over here, 1 and 2 at 47.57. Then outside of that, above that, you do have your highs and lows and the previous day close. FCX, you know what? This one might be one that we move out. It just doesn't look great. Yeah, it doesn't look good. No. Let's just get rid of this one. I think based on what we looked at already and kind of chopped up here, this one is not kind of cutting it. It could be still very possible, guys. It does have a nice drop here. I love the that is losing this level here. That's still good, but looking at Riot, DKNG, is making that one look pretty bad. Here's Apple, guys. Great day yesterday. Traded so well. Probably one of the cleanest stocks that traded yesterday. Love the pre-market right now, 129.85. Below that, we do have another level right on here, guys. This is a good one too. 128.60, 62. Got a couple of days touching that right on this, so that's good, especially the most recent ones right over here, 1 and 2. Then below that, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, especially this beautiful 127.50 maybe. Had a little nice breakout there, so that is nice. And then towards the top, you do have the highs from yesterday. The highs from the pre-market sitting slightly above the previous day close at 130.75. And then towards that, you do have some levels up here. This one, 131.97, right on the great area of support that cannot become resistance. We'll see. Right now in the midpoint of these 2 ranges, let's see where it wants to go from here. Again, had a nice little breakout yesterday. Let's see if this can continue. Right now, pre-market is showing some weakness. We are down almost 0.5%. AMC, guys, just continues to just crush it. I mean, this thing is just on fire. Right now, they're up 3.1, 6.8 million shares traded. I am going to put a level right on here at 54.68. That's the low of the pre-market. Towards the top, well, 59.49 is the high of the pre-market. And then above that, you got a couple of levels here. You obviously have this one, 68.81, and you have your all-time highs at 72.53ish or so. And then you don't have nothing else between here. There's really nothing else on the daily itself. I am going to mark down the closing of this day here. This would have been a previous day close line at that time, 62.51. Outside of that, I think we're pretty much set on AMC there. So, all right, pretty decent list. Let's take a look at it quickly at our secondary list. See if anything's looking great. Alf, I'm concerned Alf is not going to just do nothing. I'm concerned it's just going to drop here and just be choppy. I'm just going to get rid of it, guys. Neo looks interesting. I like Neo this morning, so that's good. CRSR looks very good, guys, on this drop here. CRSR could be very nice as we're losing the lows from yesterday. So yeah, CRSR could be actually very decent. I think it's worth putting some levels on this one and just being prepared. I know I have one too many here, but this one looks really good. All right, so towards the bottom, guys, we do have a level right over here, 35. So we'll throw one in there. And then slightly below that, we do have another level here with a lot of touches, 34, 33.96 if you want to be exact, right on there. Tons of days using that as resistance. And then over here as well, you got some touches there also. Now towards the top, which again could get a bounce here, but I prefer more to drop the way things are going. Right now, high of the pre-market, 38.46. Actually, no, it's a little bit higher. No, 38.46, that's correct. So that's the high of your pre-market now. And then slightly above that, you do have some other levels on here in the pre-market. But again, I'm interested in this one for it to drop. All right, that's what we have, guys. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup, see what's going on there. Let me resize this thing and bring it over. And let's see what our moderators are looking at this morning. We'll expand this here. We'll slide this over. And here we go. All right, perfect. So let's go to the top here. Let's see, what do we have? Who's first on here? IPOs for today, just 2 SPACs, guys. Those are right there, ALZNDILAU. John is looking at Facebook, Roku, and SQ. Dima is looking at OCGN, Wish, NoVN, and Apple. Thor is looking at Neo, Apple, Mara, Safe, and DKNG. Peter is looking at OCGN, Wish, AMD, Apple, Neo, and AMC. So again, you can see the trend here, guys. Very similar tickers on all of the moderators lineup today, because again, we do have some that are looking really good, and these are it, right? The OCGN, the Wish, the Apple was great, and AMC, of course. Tiffany's looking at DKNG, AMC, and OCGN. Eamon is looking at CAN, CGC, QS, secondary list, QS, he likes that twice, NKLA, and INTC. Jared is looking at AMC, DKNG, and Apple this morning. So again, pretty good list, guys. There's a few that are looking really good, right? There's some stuff here that's kind of borderline, but you got some really good ones, right? Let's start with OCGN. It's kind of leveling off a little bit here. This looks very good. Wish looks very good as well, guys. It's very active. Pre-market is starting to get a little choppy here. I wish this would have continued. It started very nice here between 7 and 8. Now it's kind of moving sideways a little bit, maybe taking a break, but I do love the daily on it for a possible breakout. Riot's traded very clean yesterday. This is why I have it here. Pre-market is kind of getting a little dull at the moment, but that's okay. DKNG just continues to bleed here, so that is looking very good. Definitely in play this morning. Apple, I love the way it traded yesterday. Let's see if we can get any type of continuation or a drop here, right? Had a big day yesterday, nice little breakout here. Let's see what happens there. AMC, you have to watch AMC. We've been watching AMC for the last 3 weeks. Even on days where it's not doing much, you got to keep an eye on it because it can take off any minute and trade very nice. So CRSR is on here as well. This one also leaving the going red right now. Let's see where this is going to head down. So yeah, we got a pretty good list, guys. And that will do it. Checking to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, I did not. Guys, over on YouTube, thank you so much for those that joined us in the onboarding class last night. We had a lot of fun, so thank you for that. And then after that, Kyle was doing his tech class, which, by the way, Kyle is doing a success webinar next week, and I gotta tell you, he knows his stuff. I joined the tech class yesterday, and he is just amazing at what he can do with computers. So you don't want to mess with Kyle. I'll tell you that much. You don't want to mess with him. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining that. Highly appreciate it. Now we have Brian and Andrew coming on next. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. It helps us out a lot. You'll be surprised how that 2-second click on that little thumbs up button emoji does for us. So highly appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing that. Subscribe if it's your first time here. We are live Monday through Friday when the market is open. Make sure you take a look also at the links that we're posting on here, guys. A lot of information on there. We have our meetups. It is not just for members. We would love to meet people that been with us on YouTube for some time, or even someone that just got here. So, do not hesitate. Join us for New York. We have one in Portland as well. And there'll be more to come as the country starts opening up, guys. We're finally getting back to some normalcy, which is great. Great. It's a beautiful thing. So, guys, take care over on YouTube. Thumbs up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Trade safe today. There's some pretty good stuff on here this morning. I think we're going to have an amazing day. So take care, guys, and see you tomorrow morning.